So guys, Rory over at STRUK Events had run a competition where you could win a really cool branded STRUK beanie for everyone that had followed our page. And just to let you know that the draw has been done and the winner is Paige Brindley. So congratulations to you, and back to the podcast. How's it, guys? Tonight we've got Pete joining us. He is the owner of Xzony and the bar and tapas bar, Faustino's.
Yeah,
is that what you say?
Faustino's. Yeah.
Faustino's. Man of many talents, trainer and rider, with loads of titles as both. Would you be able to tell us a bit about yourself?
What do you want to know? I'm also England chairman at MGA as well.
There we go.
Yeah.
Big boss.
I don't know. What would you like to know? Yeah, I've been doing games since I was tiny, really. 1993, I think I first did Pony Club. And been doing it ever since. And now I'm old and still doing it.
Okay. And then you've got 7 World Team Championship appearances as a rider.
Have I
believe. Which is quite a bit.
I've won 5, I think, as a rider, world team.
You've won 5?
I think so.
Those aren't the worst stats.
2005 was my first one in Bridgend in Wales. Yeah.
Wow.
And we won that. And then, I think...
Top card, you want him really for those stats.
What's
Sorry?
that? Oh, and top chop. Only in teams, Rory. I'm used to the individuals.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think 5 times I've won the world teams. I think. And that's as a rider.
Once as a trainer.
Once as a trainer, but training the under 17s. Oh no, I've won the Europeans doing that and the under 12s. I think. Yeah, I had to take over the under 12s one year in Northern Ireland. Yeah.
And is that a tough job being a trainer?
Yeah, I think so. You can't do much about it once they leave the line, if you know what I mean. But no, I think I get more nervous actually as a trainer than I do as a rider. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I think I do because it kind of, I don't know, other people are relying on you more maybe to guide them.
Yeah.
Whereas, if you ride in individuals and you make a mistake, well, that's your own fault, isn't it, really?
So you're sort of responsible for a whole team.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I enjoy the training side as well as the riding side. It's good.
So then I'd have to completely agree with that on Pete. I find, because obviously I train Pony Club a lot, so under 15s, but I found riding in the zones where you qualify for Horse of the Year show, I found that quite a good atmosphere to ride. And it was competitive, it was fun. Training it, well, it's just terrifying because it's not terrifying, that's not the word. I just feel like I'm on edge the whole time. I'm on the edge of my seat. Everything just feels that more intense. You got, this and that. I think there's a lot more relying on you as a trainer. Whereas a rider, you kind of do your bit. And if you do your bit well, that's what you need to do. Whereas trainer, you're responsible for not only your 5 riders, but everything that's around the whole team, basically. So it's pretty, intense.
Yeah.
And then as a rider, Rory last week said that he just takes things pretty chilled. Like his sort of plan going into the first competition is going to be sort of just trot up and down until you get to the final. What is your mindset going into your first competition back?
Well, I'm obviously older now, so I've actually been trying to get quite fit this year, and might as well because we're in lockdown and there hasn't been much else to do. But so we'll be starting with that pairs thing of Rory's. Sades and I kind of going a bit low key because I think we're taking the sort of novice ponies, if you see what I mean, to that. But then we'll ramp it up a bit when we get to the main shows and whatever and get the team out. It'll be so nice to be out there doing something again, really. But I think it's a bit difficult because we haven't even been allowed to go and practice with anyone or do anything at the moment. So it's a little bit get out there, do it, and kind of. So where I live, this is going a bit off subject, but where I live is the biggest polo in the world outside Argentina. And they're all getting the polo ponies in and fit now and whatever. The Gold Cup's played here and they're a little bit in the same boat in that they can't practice or anything at the minute. So it's kind of it's go straight and do a competition.
Yeah, so you're basically using the first couple of competitions as your like sort of warm up.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the England champs is the first one, which I'll be running anyway. So yeah, but we're going to kind of warm up for the spring champs probably the week after, I would say.
Okay, are you riding at spring? I mean, at the England, what did you say it was called? English champs?
Yeah, I will be, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, riding. And I've got an
running
under-18 team this year, so I'll be training as well. So.
Yeah, okay. I was going to ask something else. Oh, because you mentioned that you've been trying to get fit for the riding.
Yeah.
What have you been doing? And for your ponies as well? Well, firstly, just yourself. Like, have you been trying to get like physically fit for your game season?
Well, actually, yes, because I think as you get older, it does get harder. I don't tend to do too many races if I don't have to anyway. In the team, I make the others do it. You know, the likes of Sades, they should be doing it anyway. They need the practice, you know, for the individuals. But no, I went to CrossFit last year quite a bit. And then obviously we went into lockdown and couldn't. CrossFit's really hard. Have you ever done CrossFit?
Yeah,
it's really tough.
For sure.
And I've tried to like take a load of workouts from that basically. And I've been doing that personally. And then the horses, I always ride every day anyway and get them fit, loads of hill work, loads of stuff like that. So yeah, I've just started training a little bit of games on them. Yeah.
How do you suggest I get my pony to stop?
To stop? Use your voice. And maybe don't kick on the way up. Otherwise
it's actually so funny because that's what we were doing pretty much the whole of last year.
Yeah, but you think how much it's come on since you started, Kyle? I've been watching. The difference in your pony from the start to the end of the season.
Thank you very much.
I saw you upside down a couple of times.
It was a couple of times, exactly. It was crazy. Yeah. Hopefully no more of that again.
Yeah.
It just sucks when I get drawn in and they put me in like the 7th lane, especially at Aston. It's horrible.
Oh, because it's a bit tight there, you mean?
It's hella tight, yeah. And then you can't run up like in the STRUK competitions where you can like run up the arena.
Did you go over at Aston though?
I did not. I know, okay. You caught us out.
You definitely went over at Western Lords.
Yeah, and Onley.
Oh, Onley, you went your head on the wall. God, I remember that.
You must see my shoulder. Like, I don't know if you can see it, but like there's a very abnormal bump on my shoulder.
Oh, God. Well, we've all got war wounds. My back is in bits and I haven't even started the season yet. That competition at Onley was outrageous from start to finish.
So, you know, we have we always do an end of year questionnaire to kind of sort of see how everyone's thoughts and everything. I couldn't believe when we did our what was your favourite show of the year, that got like 5, 6 or 7 votes. I was like, how? It was like literally underwater for the 100.
I would have voted for that for sure.
The rain was crazy.
It was like most people, it was either European pairs or the individuals were their 2 favourites. And then it was like everything else was closed. But I couldn't believe that it was even up there with in contention because it was just, yeah. I remember getting up on the Sunday and it was like, there was just about ability to actually see the lives and see where things went. And it was, other than that, it was underwater. And
that individuals was brilliant when, what's his name? Mikel dismounted.
So many weird things happened that night. And then it was me, Pete and Lauren Powell on the commentary having an absolute, we were indoors. So we had it easy. And then, the poor guys, were quickly getting drinks in for them. But I mean, that was when the bars shut at 10. So the guys that were in the arena doing the equipment came out and I think we got some sort of drinks to them, but I don't think they could come in the bar afterwards because we were literally, as soon as it was ended, we were straight out of the bar at 9:59 or whatever it was.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Harriet solved that by drinking whilst doing equipment.
She did. Oh, but Bella was out there with with port. She was like pouring port for everyone.
Yes, yeah, I think so.
Bella, yeah, it was fantastic.
It was we couldn't really see what was going on, but yeah.
There was a lot of screaming in the bar. So me and Pete and Lauren were down to the right hand side of the bar because we were commentating from there, and the left hand side of the bar, all we heard was a lot of screaming to the point that everyone in the bar was like, who's doing that? What's that noise?
That was me and Holly and Harriet. I don't know
Holly,
if Mason
Hannah,
was there. But
No, Mason was doing my equipment.
it was wow.
They were having a wonderful time whilst Mason and Harriet were just turning into drowned rats out in the arena.
I just remember when Meg, because Meg beat Tom, I think, in mug shuffle and two flag. Was it those two?
Oh, yeah.
I was fucking screaming because I was quite sad that you guys ended up getting paired up with each other for the knockouts. I was like, it would have been cool if you guys had met only later on. Yeah.
No, it worked out well for Gary anyway.
Gary's such a legend.
But I don't know if you saw him there though. He was so quick that night.
Yeah, he beat Star in 2 races.
Yeah, say it again.
That's his best show, I think, his best feature.
Meg, didn't we have an individual somewhere where you were on Gary and I was on Kalura? We were just at the back in every race. We were waiting for each other. And I was like, seriously, I can't physically finish this race. I'm too tired. I'm too old for it. Meg, can you please hurry up?
Struggling to either get on Gary or get him to stop. Sounds about right. Yeah, he's come on since then at least.
Me and Gary had a wonderful time in the toolbox race at Spring. English.
That little trick shot.
Bang, chicka wah wah. Nailed it.
So, Pete.
Oh, God. You're very official, Kyle.
I was keep peering back down to my book and coming up with some more topics. I don't really know if I remember the answer to. I guess you told us how you'd ride your session. You were just going to take it super chilled. But in an event where you're not taking it super chilled, so let's say you are at your English champs, what sort of mindset do you have when you're not just taking your pony up and down? What would you recommend?
Do you mean when I'm not in the arena, or are you talking about
when you're riding? So for example,
when it really matters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're a trainer as well. So if you were to be I'm genuinely asking. I'm not just banging random questions at you. But if I was what would you tell me? Because usually I would often just go. I wouldn't know whether I should go or whether I should take it chilled. So I just try and take as much advice from the team as possible. But otherwise, I just go, and then it usually doesn't go very well.
Because you need. I think that's going back to what we were saying before. Because you need the support of the trainer in that way. If you know what I mean, so that they can give you advice when you're leaving the line or whatever you're doing and how you should play the race, because it depends where you're going in the race as well and how the race is playing out in the arena. Because I've always, even since Pony Club when I was a kid, you can't really look across too much at what other people are doing. I know people do a bit, but you kind of don't. You want to ride your own race rather than. I'm probably giving you too many training tips here, but no, you know what I mean?
I'll take them.
You need to concentrate on yourself more than what's going on around you, I think, a lot of the time, because otherwise you get dragged into a race that you didn't need to be, and sometimes you can even mistake someone for having a hatband on and they haven't actually got a hatband on, or so. Do you know what I mean? And I think that whole, a lot of it is up here. You've got to be, obviously you've got to be fit, you've got to be agile, you've got to be into, whatever, but a lot of it is in the mind as to how you can outbrain people, let's put it that way, by working on yourself, I think. That's getting a bit deep maybe in psychology and all that.
I remember the thing about looking across and overthinking, I think there's definitely times where you can, there's times that you shouldn't. I think, for example, you take 2 mugs as an example, you do 2 mug in a team. That is the ideal race where you're always looking and working out where you are, then you know how you're going to ride the rest of the race. But 2 mug in a World Pairs final, looking across is just pointless because you're either going or you're not, and you need to make that decision before you do it. Because, I think if you're looking at times have changed in a way as well from when I was younger and doing it. I think if you did the World Individuals and you did 2 mug and you took it quite steady. Actually, I have a prime example of this, but if you took it quite steady, you would sort of come in about 3rd. Now you kind of, times have changed and most people are going for it and getting it right. They're more getting it right than you know what I mean?
I rode at the best I've ever done individually was in Northern Ireland at the Europeans, and the final started at 11 o'clock at night under floodlights, and there were 8 boys in the final, and it was really good. I would have won it had I not done a stupid in triple flag. I knocked the cone over 3 times at the top for some stupid reason. Anyway, but every race you won a TV. Rory, you were probably there. I don't know, but
I brought this up. I didn't tell them the story because I wanted you to talk about it. I brought up that your two bucks to carry on.
Yeah. So anyway, like I think I won a TV in association. Association is my favourite race for some reason, but it is. But and that was fine. But in Two Mug, it was now like 12:30 at night. My horse is like dripping with sweat. There's a band playing one side of the ring. The whole atmosphere. It was amazing. Honestly, it was amazing. And everyone was there watching. It was like the Saturday night of the Europeans or something. And when I was on the start line, I thought, do you know what? It's so late. Everyone's really nervous. The horses are all mental. So I went really steady on the way up, and I actually broke into a trot right on the way up. And I turned around the top and I thought, oh my God, you're so far behind. You might as well trot back. So I trotted all the way back, and everyone went back, and I won a TV because I won the race. And that's the truth.
That was. I remember I was watching that because remember it was as P said, it was an electric atmosphere. I think that's one of the best atmospheres what I watched anyway. I wasn't riding. I was 15 at the time, and I rode in the C finals just before the semis. And I was watching on, and I don't know how you could trot really in there. Like, it was impressive that you could manage it because it was literally screaming, shouting. The stands were full. A load of us were sat. I remember I was sat on like one of the little buildings they had. We were sat with our feet over the edge because there was no space in the stands. It was just absolutely awesome. And there's, pumping music, everything's going, and Pete's trotting up and down the arena and winning a TV. It was like,
that was the only race I did go that slow in. But I did. It was a steady canter, but I broke into a trot a couple of times. Should we say that? And I thought, you're not going to be able to do. I'm a team rider, and doing mug shuffle flat out isn't in me really. So I got it, and that's where I tell my team take it steady, and then they lose if they go too slow. But I was like, I might as well take my time. I was so surprised. Everyone had gone back, and I was the only person back down the bottom, and I hadn't gone fast. That just shows that you've got to use your own brain, I think, a little bit. But now I don't know that I'd get away with that now. I'd probably just be completely nailed. And stiff trotting.
That's what Rory said last week as well. He said you can't really get away with that sort of thing as often now.
I do think it's changed, and I honestly, I think though, like the horses are bigger and faster. Like, yes, there were the little ones, and years ago, I don't think it's that much faster than it used to be. But I think that because of the height, weight rules and stuff like that, not just the rules, but people actually thinking about the rules. People aren't anywhere near actually being overweight at all, in my personal opinion, apart from the very odd one. But they actually, I think, like girls like Sades, for example, take her as an example. Nessa's a fairly big pony for a girl that size. A girl that size back in the 90s would have ridden a 13-1, 13-2, and no one would have even noticed. And that's the truth, because people just think, I know she rides Nessa well and she's not dangerous or anything like that, but that's how it was. Janie Sermon, for example, Poppy, the black pony she had, was insanely good, but it would have looked tiny now. Alex Franklin's blue again, things have changed really, I think, but they were just as fast as the ones that are out there now in the open, I think.
Yeah, blue with Alex Franklin was absolutely rapid. She used to always go last year in Joust, didn't she? And the arena was absolutely rapid. Yeah, there was some. There's always been some really good ponies, obviously, over the years. But yeah,
Tom's recently got a bigger pony with his.
Has he?
Went and got it from Wales.
It's far too big.
Is it? Yeah, but you're tiny as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
What pony is it?
John Evans's old pony, the one he rode in Wales.
Oh, the grey one.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember what it's called. Is it?
Raider.
What's it called?
Rado.
Oh, okay. Not the other one. Not the one that Paddy What's-It from Northern Ireland had.
No.
Oh, it's the Valley.
Yeah. The one that Eddie rode at that Europeans that time and called it Princess Leia. Do you remember that?
No, I don't. The last time I remember someone calling a horse weird was when that England team went to Italy, and they had all sorts of problems with horses to the point that Ben Thornton and some other people went and just bought a horse, and he nicknamed it Fenton because that was when that video came out. Shouting, Fenton! And all you could hear the whole week was Ben Thornton screaming, Fenton up the arena over in Italy.
That pony you've got of John Evans's is really good though, that grey. It's fast. Yeah. But it's quite big.
Too big.
Too big. No, it's not. It's not too big. You'll be fine.
How big is it actually?
15 hands. Big as it can be.
And then there's Apollo who's 14'1".
No, not true.
Yeah, but Kyle, you have literally nothing of you.
As long as you can
I think
convince
Carl is the same weight as me, and I'm pretty skinny, but I think Carl is literally the same weight as me, and he's nearly double my height, it feels like.
Yeah.
But I think just going back to like Northern Ireland, I mean, I think, I don't know if the reason that we didn't go back there again was just, I think some people weren't happy with the surface, were they, Pete, when we were out there?
I don't know. I thought it ran well, but I have to say they were all saying that the end lane was bad, and that is the race I did triple flag in, so that's my excuse. But no, I don't know. I thought it was good there. The whole way, like Brian Kennedy did I think he ran the whole thing, but the way he organised it was really good. And actually, it was that final if you ask me what my favourite competition to do, obviously Sweden, like the Scandinavian's amazing, and you never beat it. And I've been there. Well, be my 18th year next year if I go, but that final in Northern Ireland in the individuals was something else to ride in. It was really good. You can Google it, I think, because Tom James made a video of it. But he only films I think he films lanes 1 and 2, and that's it. So it's like everybody moves up, obviously, a race. So
yeah. It would be nice to see him try and do something else again there. I mean, I'd happily ride there and do it again. I don't know. I don't know if it's just because it was so much.
What's it called? Silverwood, was it?
Yeah, that was it. I think Silverwood Arena.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just because it was so much, a very small country in terms of riders. I don't know if it was just too much to try and do it again, but it would be nice to go there, and because that atmosphere was just epic. I'd love to go there.
It was really good. I'm just a bit gutted I didn't win. Still to this day. I've never been, honestly, never. I might have a record in the team, but I've never been any good at individuals. And that's the only year I came 3rd at the Europeans and 4th at the Worlds. And I'm never in the final apart from that. So yeah.
I felt like, I don't know, maybe I'd made this up. I thought when I was growing up, you were kind of like a mainstay in terms of getting.
Yeah, I used to be then, yeah. But I don't know. I don't really like individuals. I find it a bit of a lonely, boring place. At least in the team, you've got people to talk to, And then they get a bloody pandemic, and we're told to stay apart. Don't drink someone else's water. Because actually, the UK are vaccinating a lot faster than the other countries at the minute. And
wow.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think America are vaccinating quite fast. We don't have an MGA Israel yet, do we? They're really quick.
MGA what?
Israel have vaccinated nearly their whole population.
Oh,
yeah. We were quick. They're like double the speed of us. They're rapid.
I have heard, though, that Mexico have joined IMGA.
I was looking at their Facebook page today. I saw them doing some mug shuffle. Looks like what looks like a 2-flag and a cone. And they were doing like mug shuffle off of that. Like those were their poles. So I'm like,
I'm up for going there.
For sure, yeah. It looks pretty cool. And I think it's like an equestrian training place because
their facility looks really good, doesn't it?
Yeah, and they seem to do like horseball and a bunch of horse sports, and they do like lessons to kids and things.
I think it's with nations starting now as opposed to 10, 20 years ago, there's so much online now. Just they can watch videos. You've got like the Matt Games on thing that does. There's a lot of stuff on there. You got the IMGA pages, and we whack up the videos as well. There's all sorts of stuff now. This is easily findable. So if they want to know how to do stuff, they can much easier to work out now from it would have been.
For sure. Things are changing all the time, and apparently, I mean, we're in England. We keep looking at like how we can get abroad and stuff, because obviously we want, as Sussex, we want to go to the Champions League with all you guys as well, and because that's always a really good team competition. Especially, we've loved it, and last time we had a really good result, didn't we, Rory? With
you guys were right up there, right up there.
Girls and Eleanor, but so I don't know. Like, it's changing all the time, I believe. But then this equine herpes might not help. But they were actually, with Brexit, when it first started, it was like not just us, but people going to show jump, racing, polo, everything abroad is like costing a fortune to send a horse. But apparently they're looking at it all in April, I have heard, but I don't know. But again, they will need to get rid of this herpes thing or something. Yeah, they're going to have to be careful there, you'd think.
Yeah, Meg's done some research into it, just so she can give all the listeners an update.
Good.
Dr. Meg the vet, our STRUK traveling vet.
She may take it away now.
Go Meg.
Yeah, so, the outbreak started basically at a big show jumping competition in Valencia in February. So there were 726 horses that were there, I think. Since then, all of those horses, I think, I don't know if there's still some at the facility, but I think 200 or so have left and gone around the UK and around Europe. So they've all been given strict instructions to stay like quarantined and that. And all the other horses at those yards obviously have to be temperature checked and that to try and contain it. So there are a lot of things in place to try and keep it under control. All the FEI events have been cancelled until the end of March, but they've not really said anything beyond that because I think they were waiting to see maybe what happens. So 4 horses died at the venue and 2 others have died after that. So I think what's killing them is it's the neurological form. So they're getting wobbly legs basically. And the horses can take like 7 months to recover from that. Whereas if they just get like a sniffly nose or the mild signs like a cough, then they can recover quite well in a few weeks. But it's just unfortunately, it's a virus that just never really goes away. So even those horses, if they recover, they'll be infected for life and they can shed anytime, like if they're stressed or something. So it's usually traveling or competing or something that stresses them out when they shed a little bit more. Yeah, so there is a vaccine. They've recommended to not vaccinate if you're going to take your pony to France at the end of this month in a few weeks' time, they would say don't vaccinate. Because of the risks with vaccinating in an outbreak scenario. But they said if you were planning on going in a few months' time, then it would be valuable to vaccinate. Because what the vaccination can do is slow down the spread and reduce the shedding, but it's not going to stop it's not licensed to stop the neurological signs.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess for our local shows at the moment with no foreign horses coming in, we would only be at risk if there were games ponies coming from a yard where show jumpers that had travelled from there. So I think our risk is pretty low at the moment.
Yeah, Joe was saying earlier that where SAIDs work, they've just vaccinated all the horses yesterday because they do show jumping and stuff. But they are recommending that we do vaccinate, supposedly. But
yeah. So our vet practice, we do mostly like happy hacker horses. So we don't have many very competitive yards. We've got a few show jumpers that want vaccination or vaccinating, but we're unable to get hold of it at the moment. So we have to get it through our rep. So they said we might only be able to get it in a few months' time anyway. But yeah, hopefully the vet practices that do more competitive areas are able to get it a bit easier. And the other thing is that it can spread quite quickly through a yard or through like just poor biosecurity. So I'd say if Sadie's working at a yard where there are show jumpers that are traveling a lot, she should be pretty careful with biosecurity going back to her own horses.
Yeah.
Boot washing and that sort of thing.
That's a good note to sort of say to anyone who's watching this right now is to they're in a yard or a livery yard, whatever, if there are sort of show jumpers that are going abroad, make sure you really look into it and about vaccinations.
Yeah, I think contact your vet and see if they've got the vaccine at least.
Yeah.
Got to hope your farriers cleaning all their tools and things before hopping yards.
Yeah. Not kissing all the ponies on the noses and then going to the next
As
yard.
they do. We know how they love their ponies. Whoa.
Cool.
Pete, I've got another question for you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Fire away.
I think this is the last one. I mean, I could ask you about how sort of COVID has affected Xzony, but like as far as I can think, you're still making merch or
so actually is that your question? You want me to answer that?
I have one main question that I'm still going to ask, but this is just like a side note, which isn't probably too
fine.
important.
So we basically I think a lot of people want gym gear and stuff like that in lockdown, so it's actually been quite good in that way, because lots of people are buying gym leggings, and when it's been really cold, all the bobble hat, the beanie hats and stuff that everybody likes, and loads of stuff like that. So it's actually really good, because obviously we're pushing the brand a lot more with the with all the sports products and stuff. But from the like personal embroidery side and printing and whatever, because people getting team kits, we're now really busy, ready for this season in MGA and polo as well. But we do a lot of people's personalized stuff. But we've got a lot of team orders at the moment. Like I was doing the Northumberland jackets the other day, but because I have an under-18 team, and Sussex, obviously, we're doing a lot for that. Rory has a lot of shirts, etc., going on. So, doing loads of them. We do lots of sublimation for him and for his football team, his IKEA football team. And then, there's South Wiltshire. We do lots of teams for them, like various age groups as well. Our little Sussex Musketeers, Leicester Forest. I'm trying to think Mig Glam. We've done a lot of stuff for Mig Glam as well. And just various people, really. People buying STRUK skins, things like that.
That's it.
So you've been pretty unaffected then, and then you did
in that way. I think. I mean, it has obviously affected. It's really difficult to get certain stuff. It was in the first lockdown, because it trying to. Some of the suppliers and stuff weren't working so much, and whatever. And then actually in this lockdown now, Brexit has put a bit of a halt to certain things as well. But no, it's all right. And obviously Eddie and I, because he's based in Leicester and then I'm down in Sussex, we kind of to swap stuff over. Sometimes we have to meet. He does a bit of lorry driving and stuff. So I meet him at Heathrow and throw a box at him, and he throws a box at me. That's difficult because we can't actually go to each other's and do any work. We're on the phone all the time, obviously trying to sort stuff out. But
And how does the agreement work with you running the shows every now and again?
What you mean? Well, obviously I run the England show because I'm England chairman, whatever, with the committee. But the Xzony show is on again in May, 15th, 16th of May. And it's at Arena UK, which would be really good to go back there. I think everyone's quite excited about that because it's the biggest surface in Europe. Not in Europe. Biggest surface in the UK, sorry. I think it's 120 by 90. So, we should get 8 lanes in and quite comfortably. And, it'll be good there. The only downside is obviously it's only stabling. So it is a little bit more expensive. But then we've brought the cost down on the entry just to make up for that, really. But they're keen to have us back. I mean, I don't know if any of you remember. Rory probably rode there years ago. But, it was. It's a good place. I think it'll be exciting for MGA to go back there, and I don't know. I probably a thought in Rory's annoy him sometimes because I don't always agree with running on a surface. I quite like a grass arena. If it's a good grass, I always think it's like some ponies really motor on the grass, and I think it makes it quite interesting. But that's probably because I grew up doing games on grass most of the time. And I think, I don't know, we're going totally on another topic here, aren't we?
That's okay.
Rubbing on. No, I actually think it'll be good at Arena UK at Grantham because that is a surface, obviously. But I do also like I like having variety, let's put it that way. But Rory's league is on all weather, isn't it, Rory? Is that what you call it?
All weather league, yeah.
All weather shows, all weather league, yeah.
We're going to get struck on grass.
Well, I mean, the thing is, when we originally started, obviously our USP, to be completely different to everybody else, was to focus on open and the older age and the under 18s, the older age, basically, the post pony club, run on all weather because MGATB was primarily surface. I mean, primarily grass. We were all weather. It's just the fact that GB then went to all weather as well, and suddenly everything's on all weather, which I don't mind. I'm happy riding on a surface the whole time. But obviously, to people that like grass, the option.
I think it's come back around in a way in that people like me like to ride on both, because I think there was a time when, if the weather's really bad and the grass is like, can you imagine that weekend at Onley if we'd been on the grass? I mean, it just would have been disastrous. Yeah. So, and you physically can't do it at certain times of the year, really, especially as we had lockdown and then we ended up competing well into like nearly November last year. I think it would have been impossible to have run on the grass. And actually, we did have one or two weekends the year before that were a nightmare.
I think the spring champs, the in 2019 was literally a kind of. I mean, to be fair, the final was okay, but the heats was just a kind of trotting race, basically. Because if you went further than a trot, you split.
Did you get overturned in the final? Just about there.
We I mean, you did your best to get eliminated in the last race. So the last race we had to win, and they had to get eliminated. And then I look over and I see Sadie grabbing the blade of the joust and handing it to their last rider. And I was like, and then I think Pete or someone must have noticed, and they went back and redid it and did the changeover. I was like, oh, come on.
Now, I was actually lying down at the bottom of the ring because my horse had slipped over in the corner and I was nearly, I'd gone second.
Someone noticed annoyingly for us.
Yeah, so she fell over at the bottom in true Kyle style. Actually, I was like on my back at the bottom, and but we did win that one. And you came second.
That was the start of our demise that year because we won the first two shows and then we lost Dion. That was when Dion did her leg, and we rode on a 4 with Dad as our fifth, as our hand. And we were still doing well, and then obviously. Missed it. I think it was by a point in the end when it was a point or 2 points.
Something like that.
And then followed on from that was the Champions League where we were just utterly awful, and then it kind of kept going downhill for a bit until we came.
You've got us to thank Mazanzi as well, Sussex, because we were the only British team in the A final of the Champions League, which meant that they got more teams in the.
That was it. Because you made the podium, we managed to get. We still lost a spot because usually we're 6th places, and we were looking at going down to 3 or 4 because we only had Sussex in the A final, which is we've never had only one, and we've always had at least 2. And then luckily,
actually, I'm going to point something else out, Kyle, as well as a claim to fame. We won hula hoop in the final, the tyre race in the final of the Champions League, with me at age 35, Sades, and the 2 little Tuck girls, and we beat all the European, all the blokes, everyone that was with an OAP, two little girls and Sades.
it was that was impressive, to be fair. I remember the start of that final with the Italian team. I can't remember, was it La Fernia or something like that they're called?
Yeah, La Fernia, yeah.
That was it. And it was all Italian, but Ella Clark was guest riding with them as well. And they came out of the traps. I think they won something like 300 bounds, got a second, and suddenly it was like, wow, they're 10 points ahead already. And I don't know what happened then, because it was literally like 1-1, 0-0, 1-1, and they came last, but not only last, but like literally 20 points off the next position.
Yeah, and then they had the hat band on the wrong rider, and then the trainer went to argue and forgot to change it back again, so they got eliminated in 2 races in a row.
You couldn't write it, could you? They looked like they were going to walk out the first 5 races.
No, it's always good at the Champions League. I really hope that happens, because that's good standard team competition and a lot of cherry beer.
Oh, the cherry beer is fantastic. I was drinking a cherry beer last time I was on here. Actually, I don't have any more. I was saying to them, Pete, about a bit like how I mean, you guys probably ride sessions the same way. You sort of cruise through your sessions in Britain, and that's enough to get you through to an A final. Whereas Champions League is kind of, if you cruise, you're not making.
It's a different kettle of fish, totally.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, because we obviously the last time we were there, we screwed up the heats, didn't make the final, and you did the same a couple of years before, didn't you?
Yeah. I think though that sometimes that happens even in the UK. I remember inter-counties being at Dallas, and it was like you literally couldn't take your foot off the gas at all in the heats, if you know what I mean. It was not just there, but Stoneleigh as well. You've got to be. Yeah, depends on the competition, but I think it's coming back round in a way. MGA.
Well, I remember that one at Stoneleigh when the team that won the runoff for the final was the team that ended up winning it, which was that.
Yeah.
We nicknamed them the Leicester Gods, didn't we? Because it was all the kind of like big time people trying to ride in a team together, and they looked like they were going to miss it, and then they got in on a runoff and won the whole thing. That's
a rare success story if you have 5. What they've always said, 5 people that are like.
They all think they all are their game, and also come in all.
Middlesex years ago, they had like the best by far, and they would never win into counties because of it.
Yeah, funny how that works. Hey guys, so this is going on a bit long. I think the full podcast is about an hour and 40 minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to split it into 2 halves. Stay tuned for the next one.